Hello, my name is Stephen Breckenridge Oliver, and as I look at these videos on YouTube, and there are still people who, even though we know everything that we know about the pyramids, they still act like they don't know, when obviously we do. Okay. The pyramids are a time portal. Now, it basically is a supersized factor megahertz resonator. And what it does is it projects sound at a certain frequency to above the earth, where the audible frequency has an effective property to dark matter. Now, the dark matter is the basic elemental universal composition which regulates the standard passage of time. So, the audible frequency in which is effective, I know what it is, but I'm not the one that discovered that. They just didn't know what it was doing when they discovered it. You see, it comes from a tone that is 2 miles under the pyramid. Now, when I say they didn't know what they was doing, obviously, they knew they were researching the pyramid. They just didn't know what they had found at the time they had found it. So they didn't know what they was doing. They didn't know what they was looking at. They did not conceive the ability of an audible to have a dark matter effective property ability. So they just didn't understand it was possible. And we had to learn these things, and it is possible. And I'm not going to tell you the frequency, that's already been released. I'm not the one that discovered the frequency. I'm just the one that figured out what it does. Now, how do we know that we're not alone here on planet Earth? Well, consider this. When the pyramid's there, it has no markings, it has no anything that indicates that it was built by a human. What we do know is it's a cosmological compass. And you're not going to convince me that a human being needed to know where Earth is. Plain and simple. Whoever built that needed to know where Earth is in the time-space continuum. That's the only reason to build that. It's also only accurate one day of the year. And that would be, my guess, is one of the equinoxes. Plain and simple. It only has one point in the orbit in which it can provide an accurate angle in comparison to the sun in regards to the location of planet Earth in this solar system as it is here. So anyway, what's the big mystery? I mean, we've known all of this for years, and y'all ain't figured it out yet? How could you not? I mean, really, you show me one human being that needs to know where Earth is in space. What would make a human being even need to know that? Where is Earth located? When you couldn't even figure out that it's projecting a time portal. And now you say, oh, we don't know what it is. We've known this for years. The question isn't whether or not we've known it. The question is, why keep hiding it? Okay, at this point, thanks to the Merlin's Eyes Enigma being lost, and they done stole our time portals from Fort Hood, and now we realize, okay, all right, the big question about these pyramids again, well, we've known for years what they are. Now, why would they keep it secret? I can tell you that too. Because those who alter the time-space continuum and create a singularity to be projected. That's why they had to shut the pyramids down. The aliens did actually come back and shut them down because the voidance in which it was projecting, this voidance being projected, indicates proof positive that the continuum was breached. And the singularity breach is what pulls in other star systems and other things. I mean, anything caught in the time, whether it be light or anything, but as it's projected from Earth, it brings it to Earth, into this system. Can't stop it from being projected just by shutting off pyramids the way they did. It is also projected from the neutral of planet Earth, which is in between the positive and negative. Now, sometimes the global polarized static effect causes this neutral field to be located around the equator in between the positive and negative, where the positive and negative become equal. And then it is amplified by the gravitational forces of the moon and the sun and planet Venus and planet Mars. But this only happens at certain times in which the polarity becomes amplified by the counterwave amplification effect resulting from the other planets and the moon and Earth being in a position to where this amplification effect can actually occur. And it does. And it is beyond the control of any man. What is not beyond the control of man is machines and synthesized activations of apparatus in which can result in the effectiveness of dark matter frequency density being manipulated with a neutrino field or reproduction of the audible frequencies. Some of you may have researched this the way I did and found out, okay, there are those who claim that the audible frequencies are, it is a fifth state matter. And as we know, some fifth state matters affect other fifth state matters. And as we know, dark matter is also a fifth state matter. And other fifth state matters can affect dark matter. And this is how a time machine is built, really. It's what it's based on. It's the neutrino ability. And what is a time machine? Time is, we have an hour ago. We have now. So as we live and breathe, we travel through time. What is a time machine? There's no such thing. There is only apparatus in which can take you from one point in time-space to another point in time-space. No such thing as time travel. You go from one point to another point. You don't travel through the time. You get there instantly. You bypass the time. It's more like a time bypasser than a time travel machine. And it can be done with isolinear pods due to neutrino frequency manipulation of dark matter. This is done with audibles in the case of the pyramids. Now, you say you don't know what the pyramids are? I think you're hiding the fact that you do. And why? Well, because of time-traveling criminals that have no care about the rest of the people of Earth as long as they get what they want. They get what they want, and they don't care if it's going to cost planet Earth. They just don't. They don't believe it or whatever. They figure like the truth's never going to come out, so they're going to get away with this crime. when the reality is it produces a singularity which will cost every living person, including the criminal, our lives. If there's anybody who's got anything that says this ain't the way it is, you might want to check about that. The tone maker 2 miles under that pyramid. The audible frequency it projects, where it projected it to, and the result of that projection. If you're still watching this, and you might probably think, what's this dude do? Man, how's he know this? Well, it took me a while. I had to study a lot of archives and little stuff here and there. I'm a freaking geek, okay? I also do a lot more you wouldn't believe. I'm used to you not believing, so I guess that's why I get into this. Okay, all right. People think that I'm not that intelligent. I'm out to prove I am. Okay, I've solved the Bermuda Triangle. It took y'all more than 300 years. You still couldn't figure it out. All right, I solved it, and y'all still act like you don't know nothing. All right, now you're saying you don't know what these pyramids are. I say, well, I'm out to prove I'm not that unintelligent as there are some that would have you believe I am. So I say, okay, well, now I've solved the pyramids. Or did I have to? You already knew. We already knew. We just didn't tell anybody. Why not? I don't know that yet. The only thing I can think of is we got time traveling criminals, and we got people wanting to protect them as they take Earth itself into that frequency of singularity if we're not careful. The only way they're going to get away with it is to keep it hidden. There is no other way. Once we find the truth, you think we're just going to stand by and let them destroy Earth? So we've known for years, and you still act like we don't.